All right, so we're here at Moonstone Beach, and this is one of the more important breeding grounds for piping plovers, right, Nick?
Yeah, so this is part of the National Wildlife Refuge here in Rhode Island, and this year it's been a really important site. We had about 15 pairs nesting this year, and they did very well. We fledged approximately 16 chicks, and that's much higher than most of the beaches we managed this year. When the state started in the early 90s, late 80s, there was about 10 piping plover pairs for the whole state. Now, last year we had about 90 pairs for the whole state. So the past 2 years have been kind of tough. The productivity has been down. That means the number of pairs fledged per chick. So you can't really go off the success of any 1 or 2 years. But if you look at the program as a whole, it's been a great success. And you know, those are just things that it just shows that what we're doing is helping. The symbolic fencing, the education, the management that we are doing is making a difference.
Now tell me why it's so important to keep people off this bird habitat here.
Sure, it's really important during the nesting season because the birds are easily disturbed, and when they're incubating eggs, if a dog's running close to the nest, or even just by walking close to the bird's nest, they'll get up and try to lead you away from the nest. And if it's really hot outside, the eggs can actually cook, or if it's cold, the eggs won't develop as quickly. And then when the eggs do hatch, it's important to keep a safe distance from the chicks so they can forage. They need to put on a lot of weight. They need to triple their weight in the first 12 days, and if they don't, it's really hard for them to actually survive to the age where they can fly.
Okay, so they're really vulnerable at that young age when beaches are the most popular.
Sure, and when they first hatch, they're what we call precocial. And that means they can pretty much within hours of hatching, they're up and running around, and the chicks are actually foraging for themselves. But their main defense, piping plovers are a very intimidating bird. So the chicks will actually, when they're scared or they see a predator, lay down and rely on their camouflage. So they're really hard to see. And within the first few days of hatching, they're really susceptible to people stepping on them, or on beaches where they drive, they can get stuck in the tire tracks and actually get run over. So they are very sensitive during the first few weeks of hatching.
Okay, and how do you guys enforce that here? Tell me about enforcement here.
As you can see these signs, this is our symbolic fencing, and we'll try to create a buffer. Ideally, we'd like to keep a 150 to 300 yard buffer around nest or chicks. And so we'll put the fencing up, and then we'll monitor the beaches every day, and we do education. So if people are behind the fences, we try to use that as an educational opportunity, ask them, here's the birds, can you please respect, and this is why. And it seems to work out pretty well. People are very interested in what we're doing, and oftentimes they don't really know why it's important to give the birds space.